we can see how words are emotionally connected via an ethical dilemma. Here we have an ethical dilemma where there is a disease going about and it's going to kill 600,000 people. Now you are in charge of a board of scientists and doctors and all those other people, and you are in charge of certain decisions regarding the antidotes. In the first situation, scientists would like your input on whether it is better to develop an antidote that would save a guaranteed 200,000 lives, or one that had a 1/3 chance of saving everybody, but a 2/3 chance of doing nothing. Now, what do you all think about this? Alright, and now, in the second sort of situation, they want to know if you think it's better to develop an antidote that would kill a guaranteed 400,000 people, or one that had a 2/3 chance of killing everyone, but a 1/3 chance of killing nobody. So which one is better in this situation? So science says, according to several studies and using similar questions, that in the first situation, first part, that 80% of people chose the safe option, or the first one. While in the second situation, which was literally the exact same thing, stated slightly differently, only about 47% chose the safe option. Why is that? Well, scientists say that the diction messed it all up. In the first option, it says that you will save 200,000 people, while the second one says that you will kill 400,000 people. And the second option makes it sound more negative because you're killing people, while in the first option, it's focusing on the positive side and ignoring that you will eventually be killing 400,000 people, and it makes you less likely to choose it. Now it's time for a video where we can see the intersection of memory, sense perception, and language, and their respective faults that can be used to trick the brain very easily. If you use all of the faults at once, you can create some very interesting situations. Here we'll just go on to YouTube really quickly. And as you can see, this is a test your awareness video. Let's make this full screen right here.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
But how did you know?
Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away. It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you? Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
Ha ha ha. What an entertaining video. So, obviously, you done goofed. You probably might have noticed some changes, but not all. For instance, I noticed the bear changing into the suit of armor, but don't feel bad because it's your brain's fault. But how did that happen? Well, it's pretty easy. You see, your brain, first of all, is focusing on the detective and his words, who through his speech is making it seem like they already have the culprit in the room, and that's all you need to focus on, and there's no reason to look for any clues or any sorts of oddities. This ties in with your sense perception as well, which is telling you that the detective is the most important thing to focus on in your frame, and to ignore all that other background visual noise, so to speak, giving you a sort of tunnel vision. The background of the scene is then filled in your mind very roughly when you need to recall it, but the specifics are not mentioned. Like, for example, you might know that there were decorations or that the wall was lightly colored, but you'll not remember what color it was specifically, or maybe what sorts of decorations were in there, or maybe what sorts of flowers were in the vase. If somebody could at a later date then tell you that there were tulips in that vase, you would probably believe them because that seems approximately correct. Then there's also your short-term memory. If you're not focusing on something, you're obviously not going to remember it for very long or very well. So now, let's answer some of our main TOK questions. Our main question was, can eyewitness testimonies be used as a deciding factor in court cases? We also had, to what degree are eyewitnesses valid? How credible is the process of storage and retrieval of memory? How is it affected by logic and emotion? And how can language and sense perception change how we remember a given event? Well, definitely can't be used. Memory is much too pliable, and even the simple act of retrieving memory just changes the memory. And also, different people remember the same thing very differently, perhaps because of their present state. For instance, maybe one person was calm and one person was fearful. Maybe how their pasts were and how with a similar situation. Maybe even how they were recalling it and what mood they are recalling it in their present situation. And also, language affects memory in a very strong way that can make you think that there were things that weren't truly there, or maybe to fill in the blanks with the power of suggestion. And obviously, senses can be used and tricked very easily, as shown by the images in this PowerPoint, and I'm sure many optical illusions that you have all seen before. So our conclusion? No. Eyewitness testimony should not be used to decide somebody's fate. It's not ethical, and it just doesn't make any sense.